Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I have something really exciting to share with you. We're going to take some inexpensive fabric that I found at the Dollar Tree and turn it into the most adorable decor pieces. I can't wait to show you how simple and budget friendly these projects are. So let's jump right in. For my first DIY, I took this table runner and also some checkered fabric from Dollar Tree. I put them together and I cut out a rectangle. I had to line up the pieces and I put them inside out, and I used my square to measure them at 19.5 centimeters by 13 centimeters. And then I made sure to cut out in the appropriate sections. After that, I took my needle and thread and I began sewing simple stitches all around the rectangle, except for one little spot that I left empty. And I just took my needle and thread and I made a little hole into the fabric, and I pulled the thread through the hole and through both pieces of fabric. And then once I got to the little opening in the middle section of the rectangle, I made a little knot and I cut off the thread. After that, I opened up the little opening part and I pulled all the material through so that the good side of the fabric was on the outside. So I had this little pouch. After that, I took my needle and thread again and I went all the way around the whole thing, making sure that any little stitches had been sewn. There were no little gaps and all of the holes were gone. After that, I folded my little piece in half and then I folded it in half again. Now comes the tricky part. So you're going to take your finger and pull on the material to make a little fold, like so. And I've slowed this down so it's easier to see what's going on because it is a little bit difficult. Then, once you've gotten that, you want to flip it over . And then you're going to fold this section over as well so that it matches on both sides. They look the same. So there's a little flap of different material on top than on the bottom. Next, with your free hand, you're going to bend down one of the sides, and this is going to be one of your wings. You want to have your needle and thread ready before you do this, because you're going to grab it and you're going to start making some stitches through the middle of your little wing, and you just want to go straight through to the other side and then come back, and make sure you don't go all the way towards the front. You're going to come out through the side so you can make your stitches and still have that little flap in the front. And you want to make several stitches, and it might be a little bit hard to get the thread through, so it's good to have something nearby. I was using the glue gun mat the silicone mat to pull my needle through. And once that side's done, you're going to do the same thing on the other side. And it's going to look more like a little butterfly with the two little wings. And you're going to do the same thing you did on the opposite side with your needle and thread. But first, in the back, you're going to lift up this little flap and you're going to start putting your needle and thread through there. And here's how it's going to turn out. Next, I took 2 beads from a strand that I'd got at Dollar Tree and I glued them together. And then I glued them to the inside of my little wings. And I had this little lace from a gift bag that I cut the 2 little ends off of, and I placed them on just with some hot glue as antenna. And here's how my little butterfly turned out. I thought it was adorable. For my next DIY, I took a Dollar Tree dish drying mat. I cut it in half, and then I began to separate the 2 sides by cutting them, and then I cut out some pieces of the butterfly section. I took this rope that I also got at Dollar Tree, and just using hot glue, I began to wind the rope onto itself into a circle. And you should be very careful because your fingers do touch the hot glue here and it is very hot. You don't want to burn yourself. After I got this circle going, I took part of the fabric and I started winding it around the rope. And I was just using hot glue periodically to keep the fabric onto the rope. And you just want to wind it around tightly and put hot glue. You can also do this sewing if you have a sewing machine, but I don't have one, so that's why I was using hot glue. And then once you do that, you're going to start placing a little bit of glue onto the rope and winding the rope around in a circle. You want to hold onto it as well so that the hot glue starts to dry a little bit. I decided to do another layer of the butterfly fabric glued onto the rope. And I'm really liking how it's looking so far. This project is really easy and you can use it with any type of fabric as long as it's kind of thin. You don't want it to be too thick because then it won't match with the rope size. And you want to kind of go so that the inside is deeper or lower and the outside is a little higher because we're making a rope bowl. So the next thing I did was I went around a couple of turns with just the rope because I wanted a contrast in color with the green and then also the pattern. After that, I started adding fabric once again to sections of the rope just by winding the fabric around and then putting hot glue. Now it depends how big you want the bowl to be. And how many sections you want to be just rope or rope with fabric. And some people even make this just with rope. So I'm just continuing around, and I did have to hold the piece tightly so that the glue would dry and keep it together so it wouldn't unravel, you know. But it was very relaxing making this. And I was just watching YouTube videos and chatting with friends while I was making this project. You can choose different patterns and colors to create a personalized design. The Dollar Tree fabrics give us so many options to play with. The rope provides the structure while the fabric adds a touch of flair. It's like a magical transformation happening right before our eyes. As you continue coiling, make sure to secure the rope with hot glue along the way. This ensures that the bowl holds its shape and remains sturdy. As I got to the size that I wanted my bowl to be, I decided just to go around several times with the rope, just for a finishing touch. And there you have it, a beautiful rope bowl made using Dollar Tree fabrics. It's the perfect combination of functionality and style. Whether you use it to store trinkets, keys, or as a decorative centerpiece, it's sure to make a statement in any room. Today, I'm participating in the Fabricate Your Ideas open collaboration hosted by Aurea, Ray, Brenda, and Annie. Make sure to check out their links in the description box below, and also the Fab playlist. For my next DIY, my good friend Mike from Dances with Aardvarks gave me this great idea. He suggested that I watch this video on making a fabric birdhouse. So I took this placemat from Dollar Tree and I cut it up and I added it to the back of the dish rack that I'd previously cut up for the other DIY. And I'm just using hot glue to put everything together, and I used some clothespins until the glue dried. Then I took this ribbon that I also got at Dollar Tree and I cut 2 pieces of it and crossed them over and added some more hot glue on the back of it and pressed it down to make a little roof. I took this fabric that I thought was absolutely beautiful from Dollar Tree and I cut up a few little sections of it to make a little door. Then I took some more of that fabulous fabric and I made 2 little windows with 2 little notches on the inside. You could do this with sewing, but I decided to use hot glue. And I'm really liking how it's turning out. I took some little sunflower ribbon and also this beautiful plaid colored ribbon that I got last year. And I decided to make 2 little awnings and 2 little flower sections for underneath the window. Then I decided to use some of this wired polka dot ribbon and I just rolled it up by putting hot glue and then rolling it and made a little perch for my bird to stand on. As for the bird, I took some more of that buffalo check fabric and just cut out a little bird shape. And I placed it on top of the perch. I thought the bird needed a little eye, so just using some of the shiny part of the fabric, I made a little eye for him. And here's how it's looking so far. Now, I had this rope. It's nautical rope. And I decided to add that on the inside so I could make this a little purse. And I needed a little handle, so the nautical rope fit just fine. This birdhouse purse is not only a fashion accessory, but also a conversation starter. Imagine the compliments you'll receive when you walk down the street with this whimsical piece. For my next DIY, I went live and worked on an exciting project, making a fabulous letter holder box for organizing incoming mail. And guess what? I used a Dollar Tree table runner as the main material. First, I placed the table runner on a sturdy board to form the base of the letter box. Then, I stitched the table runner, and then I added some lace for some pretty embellishments. If you want to dive deeper into the creation process, I've got you covered. For an in-depth tutorial where I explain each step in detail, click on the next video.